can you start by telling me kind of how you found out about everything yesterday?
My wife and I we decided to just go for a ride. And the irony is we actually drove out by Eagle Mountain, and we actually drove down the road where the accident happened, and we ran into the police barricade, and they turned us around. And there was a gal on the side of the road, and I asked her, what happened? She says, well, there apparently was a fatality. And, I kind of went, oh, that's too bad. And drove back around, and then we started, driving down the west side of Utah Lake, and it was about 20 minutes into that ride when my dad called me, just crying his eyes out, and basically said, he'd been killed.
Was he your only brother?
No. Give me just a second.
Yeah, no.
I've got several other brothers and a sister. So there were 5 of us total, and so 3 brothers, one sister. I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Where's Rodney in the line of?
He was the youngest.
The youngest. Okay.
Yeah, he was youngest of all of us.
Can you talk about why you wanted to speak up today?
Well, it's such a senseless death. Rodney and Meesha would still be here if it wasn't for somebody losing their cool and deciding to act out on their rage and determination to get, their determination to get revenge on somebody, or, dole out their idea of justice. And I think it's tragic. It's impacted lives. You don't understand. 2 people are involved in an accident. It's not just those 2 people. It's the families. It's the coworkers. It's all the other friends and acquaintances out there. There's hundreds of people affected by it. And he was part of the Porsche Club. He had untold numbers of friends in that. I mean, so he was plugged into the community, did a lot of that kind of stuff, and it's just, it's a tragic, senseless loss. It didn't need to happen.
How would you describe Rodney?
Oh, he's full of life. He was the guy at the party who'd have the jokes and, interact with everybody. He made friends just really easily. One of his friends came by this afternoon and said, I moved here from California, and I'd only been here for, a short period of time, and he's the best friend I've got, I mean, he was just that kind of guy. He would just get in there, do stuff with people. He engaged his nieces and nephews. When my brother-in-law passed away, he'd take him skiing. He was just a great all-around guy.
Do you know what he and his girlfriend were headed to, or what they were doing?
They were at a kind of a rally, for a car rally, and there were a whole group of them that met out, I guess, by Eagle Mountain, and then my understanding was they were taking off and driving somewhere when the incident happened.
Wow. Just enjoying their Sunday afternoon?
Yep.
What went through your head when you heard what happened?
Oh, well, you're numb, you're devastated. I was probably in shock most of the day. You just, it doesn't seem real, even though it is. And then, of course, have to go and console my dad, and then all the other siblings, start coming into town. And I mean, it's just, it's like every time someone else comes in, it kind of opens up the wound again, and you start getting emotional, as I am now. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's so raw still, I'm sure. What do you want to tell drivers about letting their emotions get the best of them?
Just calm down. There's no reason to be upset about somebody who cuts you off, or, let it go. I mean, I've witnessed it numerous times. People who will, get angry, do hand gestures, try to brake in front of you and get you to try to stop just to show that they're upset. Why? I mean, what does it really accomplish? It's just all ego. People with inflated egos and can't control their emotions. It's ridiculous. There's no reason behind it, and they don't think twice about doing it, but they haven't got a clue, realizing that it just takes 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second, and you've changed a whole bunch of lives. I mean, that quick, and it can't be reversed. It's permanent.
I think looking at the pictures of Rodney's car is going to change things in Utah. Just seeing that you?
Oh yeah. It's you know, he was a avid car nut, and he's got a number of cars, you know, and he took pride and joy in his cars. And like I say, he was kind of a Porsche fan. He has several of those. He'd buy them and rebuild them, fix them up. So he really enjoyed that kind of stuff, and it brought him joy. And he, you know, like I say, he shared that with lots of other people. You know, they would have their rallies and things like that. They'd take each other for rides in their cars and do different things. So it was really, you know, it brought him a lot of joy. And so it's kind of ironic that that's how it all ended, that he was doing what he enjoyed, but at the same time, can't go back now.
Did you see the car after the accident?
I just saw pictures of it. Like I say, we actually drove by the scene after the fact, not knowing what it was, and you know, but that was a number of hours afterwards. I know the police were out there for a while investigating it, and so we went ahead and just, you know, I wasn't going to drive back out there. I didn't want to see that, you know, and even watching pictures on the news and seeing stuff online, you know, it's obvious the impact was incredible, you know, and the detectives told us that they truly didn't, you know, they probably didn't even know what hit them. They probably had a time to blink or just look up for a half a second, and it was already over. And so it was really sad.
Do you think it's a blessing that you were turned around?
Yeah. Oh, no question. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And it sounds like there were a lot of people in this group that were all driving along together. So I'm guessing there were a number of people who saw this. And I mean, it's the kind of thing you can't get out of your head, you know. And you know, the sad thing is, you know, the individuals involved, you know, didn't sustain. Well, I don't know how many injuries they sustained or anything else, but you know, they're walking away from it. Basically, they're going to be able to continue their lives. And like I say, just that short period of, you know, anger, and I'm going to get even with them, and I'm going to show them, and next thing you know, it's, you know, changed a bunch of other people's lives.
They get to walk away, but your brother doesn't.
Yeah, bottom line.
Do you think there needs to be stricter laws in Utah for incidents like this?
You know, I think stricter laws are always out there to help out, but you know, I think some of these individuals just, you know, they're not thinking about the laws when they do this stuff. They truly just they just let their emotions get the best of them, you know, and they just decide, hey, I'm gonna show that guy, and everything else is out the window, you know. And how do you legislate that? You know, I mean, the penalties are obviously in place, and this individual or individuals, I'm still not sure, you know, how it's going to play out, but you know, they're going to pay the price. There's no question about it. But you know, would that have prevented them from doing it? I honestly don't know if it would or not.
They just get heated in the moment.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no thought involved. They react, and then that's how it happens. So I have no clue if legislation would do much about it. I think more community awareness and talking to people and making them aware of the fact that, look, this is a dead end. As much as it boosts your ego to show this other person, you know, what you think of them, it truly doesn't accomplish anything in the end, because they'll forget about it, and you ultimately forget about it, and the next thing you know, something else is happening somewhere else. Somebody else has lost their cool, and you know, I've seen a number of these types of stories, and you know, you never think it's going to happen to our family, but sadly, it happened to our family.
What are you going to miss most about your brother?
Just him being here. He had just started running our family business. You know, he was really excited about that, and you know, him and his girlfriend were really happy together. They were enjoying their lives, and you know, who knows where that could have gone. But at this point, can't see. We're not going to be able to see where it goes. So
I know Mark said that you might have to go back to running the business.
I was there today already. I mean, you know, myself and my other brother had just retired from the company. Rodney and my sister Michelle had bought us out and said, yeah, we want to take it over. And he was so excited about that. He just thought this is the coolest thing. And he was just in his element. He was doing great. And like I say, that goes back to that chain reaction. It's not just the people involved in the accident, but now it's infected the company with all the employees at the company, and all the friends, customers, and all the people he associated with. There's just
a lot of people.
Yeah.
What was the company, if you don't mind me asking?
It's called Aerospace Tooling and Machining.
What does that do? How would you sum that up in a sentence?
It's a high-tech machine shop.
High-tech machine shop? Awesome.
Yeah, we've done some really fascinating projects. Probably about a quarter of the structural components for the James Webb Telescope, things that we built.
Wow.
When those Chilean miners were rescued underground, the drill bits they used to get to them were drill bits that we had built.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, we've done a lot of really interesting things over all the years that we've been around. And so, I mean, it's a well-established company. And, Rodney kind of grew up in it and working with us. And then, kind of the succession where, I'm hitting retirement age along with my other brother, and he's jumping into the saddle and saying, all right, I'm going to drive now. So, that's kind of where it went.
Oh, wow. Dang. Well, thank you for, is there anything you want to add, or we can give business a shout out too and mention it as well?
I
Nothing else.
don't have anything right now. I'm sorry.
No, that's
I
okay.
just